Two wheels has given me a lifestyle, 2 Olympic Games, multiple world titles. But really the realisation for me was after the Rio Olympic Games, where I'd gone into my second Olympic Games as the world champion and haven't walked away with a medal. I sort of took a step back after that and set my goals for 2017.
We always kind of have that one focus. You go there, you compete. I noticed I was traveling the world and not actually seeing the world.
Thought with my fiancé, Barry Nobles, let's really live the journey this year. Let's take a different approach to the year. That was where the idea sort of stemmed from.
Their journey began at the mecca of action sports, the South Island of New Zealand.
Whilst I'd started at 5 years old on BMX, I think it was inevitable that I'd get some horsepower between my legs and get on a motorbike on the road.
Brand new. I think it's got, what, 3 kilometres on it?
Yep.
2017 Street Bob to ride down to Invercargill. What do you think?
I'm ready.
I think this bike's probably a little bit quicker than Barry's bike, so you should have a bit of fun there.
Yes.
Living a life of adventure and adrenaline is the glue that bonds action sports power couple Caroline and Barry. Living the ride is just the beginning.
Riding our bikes into Queenstown instead of flying was a whole new experience.
Having seen the route in many films, Crown Range was on the bucket list, and what better way to see it than on the back of a V-twin Touring Master, a Harley-Davidson.
Phenomenal road that we've seen multiple YouTube videos.
It looked like the background of a computer when you get it, like it was beautiful, just windy roads. It was like a postcard. I can't ask for like much better than that when you got your chick wanting to rip turns with you, and yeah, it just made it an amazing ride.
The day of the Harley-Davidson Iron Run was like nothing else. I'd never been a part of a group ride that big.
An invitation to Queenstown to lead the Iron Run ahead of 1,000 bikers was an honor Caroline couldn't refuse.
When you hear 1,000 motorbikes behind you start up, it really gets that buzz.
It's literally like thunder rolling through, and it's just that everyone is stoked just to be twisting the throttle of a Harley-Davidson.
To have that many like-minded people a part of something, raising money for charity as well. So there was so many good causes.
The excitement of competing is too much of a draw for this adrenaline couple to ignore. It was time to swap their mechanical stallions for 2 wheels of a more familiar form. They're heading to Rotorua to begin their year-long crusade to be crowned king and queen of Crankworks.
The whole tourism community, the whole biking community, the schools, everyone really gets behind the Crankworks event.
You get here and you have downhill racing, freestyle events, enduro racing. All these disciplines come into one to make this one mountain bike festival, and it's grown so much. Air Downhill is like a BMX track that lasts 3 minutes.
It's a great mix of downhill, BMX, pump track, sort of all in one, and it's an event that brings all the disciplines of Crankworks together.
I'll tell you what, man, Barry Nobles, he wants to win this thing, and he's got a lot of big names that he's got to face to try and win this thing. Boy, he's got that eye of the tiger right now. Barry Nobles really wants this, man. He can taste it. He's going to have to try and beat 2:12.53 needles.
Yeah, if Barry can stay consistent and smart in these turns, he's going to have a shot at this because obviously he's got a lot of power from the BMX background.
That's how you keep it low right there. Top 20 right there, 18th place, 2:19.55. 7 seconds off the time of Matt Walker with a 2:12.53.
Yeah, he's a competitive rider. He's probably not going to be happy with that.
To beat these girls that have been here before and been in contention for the Queen of Crankworks title, I know that I'm going to have to lay it all on the line for this one.
Well, here's a look at Caroline Buchanan now. She's ready to do her thing in here, making that charge for the Queen of Crankworks.
You really got to be on it. Big tabletop, big corners. It's such a nicely groomed track. It's really high speed.
And this race is going to play right into her skill set. I mean, this is basically a glorified long BMX track, so she should really have some good pace here.
I like how she gives Crankworks more importance than the Olympics. That, to me, is an amazing thing. It just shows you how special Crankworks competition is.
Yeah, she'll be hard on the pedals. You know, she's got some amazing power from that BMX background. She knows how to stay low. She knows how to generate speed from every little bump on this course.
When I crossed the line and came down, I knew that I'd put together quite a good run, but I knew that it might not be enough to actually take the win on the day.
Crossing the line, what's going to be the time for her? 2:23.43, and she goes down at the end. Second place with that time, but she crashes.
Me and Barry are definitely big kids when it comes to anything two wheels or fun or adventure. Heli biking was a whole new experience. Normally, you've got to ride up and earn your own descent down, so it's always been that bucket list goal, but I've never really thought that it would totally be achievable. We're up above the clouds. It was really a breathtaking moment.
Somewhere a car or a lift would never take you, and you can only get there from a helicopter, and that's just rad in itself.
We're basically on the top of Coronet Peak with nobody around above the clouds and about to enjoy the descent down.
Taking this amazing view for a minute. All right, carry on.
Yeah, we're just two kids enjoying, you know, basically we got on a bike at 5 years old. We enjoyed that freedom, we enjoyed that rush that it gave us, and still, you know, for me, 20 years later, I'm still that big kid riding a bike and getting challenged by riding a bike at the same time. Good day.
Good lap.
Whilst I love flying on a bike, I don't like flying through the sky.
Bungee jumping all started right here in New Zealand.
I was terrified. I don't know really what I've signed myself up to. I think it was right up Barry's alley.
Once you get up there and strapped in, you're like, well, you're not gonna back out.
No, I'm chilling. I'm good.
You just gotta switch the brain off and just lean forward, bend those knees, and just leap out as hard as you can.
I think I screamed the entire way down. Fear and adrenaline, it's like no other experience that you can really talk about until you get there.
Mentoring young kids is a mission for Caroline and Barry, and joining the local kids for a session at the Rotorua BMX track is high on their agenda.
Getting to the BMX track was cool. I mean, we've been on the mountain bikes, and BMX is the core root of everything.
Nice, that's cool.
Hi. Love that kid. Me and Barry were just able to get on the gate with them. There was lots of girls, which was like surprising for me. And I love when you travel the world and you get to see all these different girls competing. But not only that, they were jumping as well. And the skill level here, I think it was so evident that they're in a mecca for the environment to have that progression. We were just talking about what we have planned. I'm like, oh, Barry spotted an airbag. He wants to go ride.
Nice. Day is kids' day, like every day in my life. I came here for an airbag. They have bungee, they have a slingshot swing, they have an indoor skydive that's outdoor, they have a jet boat over there, and I want to live on that hill right there, and I'll come here every day.
Barry always knows that to push my progression, when you throw a bet in the mix, it's always going to make me step up.
I was kind of like, hey, make a bet. When you get there, no warm up, just got to drop in and send a flip first go. Because you don't just roll down and, oh, let's see what it feels like. It feels like every other lift. If she doesn't do the flip first time, then I get to order her whatever at dinner tonight, whether it's a big juicy cheeseburger, extra gluten.
If I do for the next 24 hours, I get to order you whatever food I choose.
I'm a big eater. I'm usually cleaning up everybody else's plate when we're sitting at a dinner table.
He's a man of food and he can definitely put down anything he chooses, whereas I choose to eat a little bit cleaner. He would be on my rabbit food diet.
But she's up there nervous, and that feeling up there is what I wanted to kind of push her through. So I knew she could do it. I was prepping myself. I had a big lunch just to make sure if I had rabbit food for dinner, I was gonna be good.
Every part of your brain and body and mind just wants to say no, and you've got to just put all that to the side and step up. Lost the bet, but went up again for a second go, and I knew that I could rip it around a little bit more and a bit quicker. Maybe second time lucky.
She already knows what it feels like now. Now she's gonna probably rip it around second go. I'd say.
If it was a jump, she would have rolled away perfect over a double.
Oh, she killed it. I knew she'd get it good. She just had to commit to it that first try.
So do I still win the bet?
I definitely win. We just go on with life like nothing happens. I'm gonna go order pizzas and burgers and whatever I want.
I really just needed to get out, get on my hardtail, and kind of spin a few tricks, whether it was on a dirt jump or on an airbag.
Time for the elbow pads.
Barry wanted to dial in some of his tricks ahead of the speed and style event that he was really focusing on for Crankworks.
So it was good to get out there and really have some good momentum to kind of lead into that first speed and style. So coming into this event, speed and style was my #1 focus. I've always had that freestyle passion. I would love to be out there riding the slope style with all those guys. It's kind of a luck of the draw with who you get, whether you're gonna get paired up against a racer first, or another freestyle guy that's got banger tricks.
Let's talk a little bit about Barry Nobles. He comes from a BMX background, and he's all about speed style. Nobles looks like he got the jump here.
Barry Nobles actually edging out of those left-hand berms.
I had the tricks I wanted to do in practice, had the tricks I wanted to pull out in competition.
0.12. Nobles will still have the lead despite the jumps by being so fast and still having the flips in there too.
I am a racer at heart, but I put the time in to kind of learn those tricks, and didn't really get to show that. So that was kind of a bummer. Over-rotated a underflip table and got a big deduction on that, a lot bigger than I was kind of ready for.
Wow, Barry Nobles recovering very nicely from that slight bobble.
You know Barry's got the speed, so he needs to really extend that lead because Jakob's got some big tricks in his bag, and let's see what he's going to throw down here. Ooh, this is going to be tough right there. It's apples and oranges comparing nowadays.
A 92 for that backflip triple X up.
Oh, and that's going to do it for Barry Nobles. He's been eliminated. Jakob Wenzel, he'll be moving on.
Kind of back to the drawing board for the next stop in France, and just kind of come out with the 2 I wanted to show and a handful of more bangers.
For me, the big whip competition, it goes completely against my race background. The boys really dominate at something that's right up their alley, but for the women to see them, Casey Brown, she's really sort of led the way of the big whip competition. She wins it every time, but she's pushing the progression, and I'm glad to be one of those girls that are stepping it up and following and giving it a crack as well.
After disappointing results and to give their motivation a boost, some downtime was on the cards.
Well, we're going to put you on our water rides today.
Okay.
Yeah, they're wild, they're fun.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll make some
warm water, we've got hot tubs at the bottom for you guys.
Yeah.
So.
It was an adrenaline rush out of your control, which I actually really enjoyed.
You're in a ball, you don't really know where you're at.
We ended up with knees in each other's faces.
Caroline's in there with me. We're bouncing off each other, and it was pretty awesome to do.
Like, you see it rolling down, it doesn't look as fast, but you're in there way faster than I expected it to be.
Again?
Yeah.
Time to race, I think. It was a completely different experience, but so much fun. There's so many events that we do around the world. All these females come in to compete. We're all from different disciplines, but a lot of the times we don't cross paths or even know each other, and we're in the exact same two-wheeled world. And I just thought it would be a great opportunity to mix in the tourism and go and really experience these fun times together. We managed to pull together 9 ladies that wanted to have a ladies' ride-out day, meet up at Capers for lunch.
Then it was time for the girls to hit the spa, wash away the mud and grease, and take some time out.
I had a soak in the hot pool, had a 45-minute massage, really got pampered. Got on a pure cruise and went out to some hot pools. Just enjoyed our time together. Yeah, it was really nice to sort of just spend that time as the ladies of two wheels and take away the competition, take away the podiums, and not worry so much about the event that was coming up. But whilst we're on the road, there's so much fun to be had. Sometimes it feels like you are on a bit of a holiday and you may skip a week where you can't get into the gym. Strength and conditioning is a huge part of being an athlete. Not only injury maintenance, but also just being able to perform and be at your best, and also be able to back up events and the consistency throughout such a long season.
Good to kind of get in there and throw some weights around. I'm not in the gym near as much as I used to, so I think Caroline and I just share weights nowadays. We're lifting about the same weight.
At the end of the day, when you come down to racing, it can be milliseconds that are won at that finish line, and it can all come back to just who's stronger on the day or who's put in more work in the off season. And that's definitely what I've found has been a huge asset to me, is having such a strong physique. And I'm quite a little pocket rocket, but that power to weight ratio is important when it comes to racing.
It's good to kind of get that body moving and not just on the bike and get ready for competition.
As previous podium partners at Crankworks Pump Track, Caroline and Barry were keen to get back on their bikes and fight for the crowns. But the weather had plans of its own.
It's the exact conditions a BMX ride and mountain bike would want. Nice, hard packed, smooth and dry. Completely opposite of that.
They were watching the forecast on and off all week, and Crankworks is an organisation, they're so on the ball with making sure that the schedules are in place, and they actually moved Pump Track a day earlier, and we were a little bit worried that the crowd wouldn't come, but the sun shined, they patched up the corners that were a little bit wet, the crowd formed, and yeah, everyone really got into the actions.
Had to take our chains off. Pump Track racing. No cheating here.
Let's see how this one goes right now. So you got Caroline Buchanan.
Yeah, I mean, she's called out that she's going for the Queen of Crankworks title.
Nobles by .06. What? That was close right there. How about that?
Qualified third, so I mean, there's a lot of guys that are super fast. I mean, especially with these little spots on the track, literally anything could happen.
The power couple of Pump Track.
Once it kicked off, the competitive nature of Barry and myself, we knew that that was the discipline of Crankworks that we could really excel at, and such a crucial opportunity to get those overall Crankworks points.
I don't sign up for any events. I don't want to have that top spot in, so I'm going to get out there, and anyone I'm signed up for, I'm going for that top spot, so I'll be out there
giving it 100%.
Well, like I said, there's going to be an American on the podium. Is it going to be Nobles? Is it going to be Ropalato? Well, here we go. Nobles on the right. Mitch Ropalato on the left. The battle for the bronze. Here we go.
There we go. Mitch is obviously on the slow lane, but if he can really just get ahead here at this turn, put some pressure on Barry. Oh, Barry is committed to that turn. Looking really, really good. Let's see if Mitch can pull it back, give us an exciting second round. That's close, guys. That's really, really close.
There's Barry Nobles right there, 100% on the focus side of things right now. Barry Nobles on the left with the advantage. Mitch Ropalato on the right.
They both clean through that turn. This final straight, guys. They can't give up. Let's see them push. Bring them home, crowd.
Crashing the line first. Mitch Ropalato. Did he make up the time? No, he doesn't. .07. The bronze medal goes to Barry Nobles by .07. Nobles with the bronze.
Yeah, Mitch isn't sure. They're both looking at the scoreboard. I don't think they know. We know. You've done it, Barry. You've got your bronze.
Went first. Put third to work. Beginning of the year. Long season. Take a podium. Good way to start the season.
In the semi-final round, I was up against another fellow Aussie, Danielle Beecroft. So I'd won on the first side, and then the second round, I was coming through, having a great run, and looked down, and there was a blue blow-up clapper.
She's got a lot of experience on her about Caroline. Oh my goodness!
Oh, what?
Like I said, she's got away from a mistake grab.
No
It's
way.
happened.
Say it isn't so.
Threw me off, and I went around it, and then managed to miss the next turn.
Well, will they give her a rerun? So we'll see what happens on this one. Yeah, you heard it right there. Yeah, there's going to be a rerun on this one for sure.
Luckily, Crankworks were really understanding that it was an external interference, and they gave me that rerun and that opportunity to have a fair race.
Caroline's coming into that turn where she had that little problem.
Oh, she made it up right there at the end, did she? Yes, she did. Caroline Buchanan, after the rerun, she'll move on to face Jill Kintner.
She was the one that I wanted to really go head-to-head with. She's a queen of Crankworks. She's won multiple times in all the different events.
Jill Kintner needs to run a flawless race here.
The crowd is getting hype, Brad. You can hear
the Caroline chants right now.
The kids started chanting my name. The pressure was there, and you know, I love that. The competition is what really makes me thrive and step up.
Okay, the wheel's ahead. She needs to push. Caroline's looking good. Yeah, if she can get ahead, she's going to take it.
Caroline
she's
Buchanan crosses the line first. And Jill Kintner will take the silver, and Caroline Buchanan with the gold. The couple right there hugging it out.
Didn't get that top spot ideally like I wanted, but Caroline held it down for us for that, and I took that third spot, so it was great momentum. I couldn't ask for anything kind of better leading into this year.
Pretty special to be able to have your fiance out there with you on the podium.
So she means business. She wants the Queen of Crankworks title. Now that the whole Olympic thing is over, she wants to focus on this.
With crucial qualifying points in the bag and Caroline first in line for the throne, it was time for this power couple to move on to their next adventure. Round 2 was taking to the other side of the globe. The destination was the Swiss Alps.
Generally, we would land in a country, get settled into the hotel, try not fall asleep before 8 o'clock at night. But this trip, it was hit the ground running.
First stop on their European adventure was a rafting trip over the border in France.
Not too many things scare me. I love that fear and adrenaline. But if anything, it's water. For me, I think it's good to sort of be pushed out of those comfort zones. When I'm stretched outside my comfort zone, when my fear is peaking, when my anxiety and adrenaline is peaking, there's so many unknowns.
Is it cold?
To have Barry up there on the top of this cliff.
Get it. You got it.
Fear, I think I'd say it's my best friend at times and my worst enemy at other times.
Love you.
Freezing cold water.
Quite the wake up. Adrenaline starts pumping, you're jumping off cliffs, bombing down rafts.
For me, yeah, the adrenaline and that rush started from the get-go of the trip. Yeah, you know, I think trusting in the environment, and we had some great rafting instructors that were there, and you know, I think that's part of the fun and excitement as well, is to stay in the moment and go with the flow. And I even said to Barry, we're back on the Live in the Ride tour. It's happening.
Good times. Not bad for landing in Geneva, and 4 hours later we're rushing down rapids.
A good way to kick off our first stop.
It's not all just fun and adventure. There's also the little matter of competition.
It was this cute little town in the middle of the French Alps. You know, we were ready to just get out there and focus on one thing, and that was riding our bikes. For me, there's a lot of events that I go to that do feel a little bit stale or do feel like a little bit like a job. But the thing about Crankworx is it's not. Crankworx is growing. It's special because it's bringing so many different disciplines of mountain biking together, which no other event does. It's really fun as an athlete. Léger is very typical Europe, route, rocks, fast, high speed. It was raw and natural.
We're both so competitive, we're gonna get frustrated if we don't feel like we're one of the top riders, and I was being real with myself. I knew I didn't go into that even standing a chance to being a top 5 guy, so really I just went out there and had fun.
First up for Caroline came the downhill.
For me, it was sort of readjusting and going with the flow of Crankworx, taking that opportunity to mainly just get better on the bike. Merci. I didn't have the results that I wanted, but I knew it was going to be that challenge, and again, to push my progression at a new event.
These last couple of years, being able to step into freestyle, I really kind of take that as my own little contest. So with speed and stock, getting a result is high priority for me. I've been putting in the work, so I want that work to show. First jump was a little awkward last year. It was still awkward this year. You come out of the starting gate, instantly have to hit the brakes before the jump, so it was kind of getting in my head judging it, and when I went off to spin this lip, I just pulled it a little too quick and landed completely sideways, fully tacoing my wheel, and I guess I just put my hand down kind of weird and messed my thumb up, and it wasn't the way I wanted to really start practice.
Like if I get any pressure backwards, I'm in the worst pain.
Once that adrenaline kind of kicks in on the starting gate, I'm not even going to feel it, so I wrapped the thumb up, got it stiff where it couldn't really move, and the pain left. So coming into that first round against Greg Watts, I knew I'm gonna have to bring out my biggest trick.
Nobles has been working on those tricks. He's got a bum. What is it? Is it right hand that's messed up?
I think it's the hand. That's what I was hearing. You could see backflip Superman for Barry Nobles, keeping those feet on the pedals, out in the lead right now, trying to make up that disadvantage. Barry Nobles looking super on point.
As I get to that bottom jump, like my heart started pumping. I knew, like, all right, cool, flip whip. I have to send it now.
Barry needs something big on this last jump. A backflip tail whip, no!
Kicked the tail whip while I'm upside down, saw it coming between my legs, but as I came around, I saw I was still 10 feet off the landing, coming in way too hot, landed and rolled across the finish line.
And he has to press the eject button, but he knew he needed something big for a former Red Bull Joyride winner.
I still had the biggest smile on my face for actually overcoming that and stepping up and knowing we got Innsbruck next weekend, so it's time to send it again.
Having Barry by my side for the big whip is the most important one.
Me pushing her, anytime I'm off the bike, I want her to excel. I'm gonna push her just as hard as I push myself.
So your approach is good, you're going to the outside.
For Barry, it's a walk in the park. He's great at explaining and breaking it down to me.
So as you turn, you're already doing it a little bit. You're doing the right motions. But more you turn on the lip, more your back end's gonna go out when you leave the lip.
It's quite rare to get the opportunity to jump these huge jumps.
It's more about kind of pushing her progression than actually going out there and winning a whip contest.
So that was all right there, hey?
Oh, that was really good.
Seeing that progression is kind of like seeing that progression in myself, you know?
Kick it out, girl. Just getting sideways. Same thing. Do that same thing, just go faster. That was sick. Yeah!
When I can just stand beside her on the hill and push her every time she drops in, then I'm happy. We really need to kind of step away from
the two wheels, because that's what these whole trips are about, really kind of getting out and seeing these countries. We roll up, and this place is like my own little paradise. Was not expecting that speed. It feels like a free fall all the way down.
I think I'm most excited to launch off that.
There was a kicker into the water. We signed our life away. We knew we were going to be in the air about 4 meters high. He makes things look easy, and I went up there and froze out and managed to slap my back on the way down.
You didn't kick your legs.
Being a professional athlete, you're always battling against the odds of that risk versus reward. To push those boundaries off the bike, I think is a huge challenge as well. I've done bungee jumping, I've done skydiving. I do love that free fall feeling. So the draw card was the swing.
Oh my God. Why do I do this?
Well, right now she's having to walk around the edge on a tiny little beam, and I know she's freaking out.
Really? Really? Really?
Then you've got to swing off and free fall, and you've got concrete underneath you. Like, it's all these elements of just handling your emotions.
My hands. Just absolute fear. Oh, I'm gonna stick to riding a bike.
Leading in a pump track, Caroline and I have both won these events, multiple podiums.
We'd both been on the podium in Rotorua, and our goal was to get on the podium again.
He's really brute power when he pumps a bike.
I felt it, like everything was kind of coming together. The adrenaline was pumping a little more. I was getting closer to the final.
So now we head back up for Eddie Masters versus Barry Nobles.
I was really just getting fired up.
Better get his game face on to take down Barry Nobles in pump track though.
Look at this. Look at this.
Oh, he's keeping him honest.
Oh, by 0.15. So not by much. So Barry Nobles up for you next. He takes it very serious. He is out here for one thing, and that is to win.
Pushing hard here. It looks like he's got a little bit of lead here going in. We'll see if what the time says, though.
Kind of sitting, waiting for the final rounds of 4. In my head, I'm getting ready, like, next 4, I'm almost guaranteed a podium. And then one of the riders comes up and tells me that, hey, I think you're disqualified.
Let's go back to that first round, and we'll see what happened that would disqualify.
See if he crosses the white line here.
Is he on the line?
It's
really
so borderline, but rules are rules.
Let's go back and look at that again.
Kind of clear as day now looking at it. Oh, that is torture.
What a tough way to be eliminated.
No one warned me, no one told me, so that second round, I beat the guy by just enough to save energy, and next thing I know, I'm out.
That's just tough right there.
Another event with not the points I needed.
With the disappointing result for Barry, it was time for Caroline to come up against her nemesis.
I knew all year there was going to be that rivalry, and it would bounce back and forward. Success always breeds success, and I'd won in Rotorua, and I was coming in with the Queen of Crankworks title on my back, and I always want to win.
She's in the charge for the Queen of Crankworks, and a win out here today would really help her cause.
There is that hype. The fans are going crazy. They're making whatever they can in the crowd to make noise, and having that crowd and excitement, that's one thing that's unique to Crankworks.
Out the gate like a rocket, Caroline. Yeah, Isabeau's got a work cut out for it.
So Caroline Buchanan has done what she needed to do. She's moved into the semifinals. So we talked about it right there. The collision course is set, and we're going to have a repeat of the finals between Jill Kittner and Caroline Buchanan. That's how it's going to go. And I know the French word is déjà vu, And I'm seeing a big deja vu here right now.
Come the final up against Jill Kittner, she got a little bit of the jump on me out of the gate.
And here we are again in Leger as these same two battle it out for the gold.
Coming into Rotorua, I laid it all on the line there. But coming into Leger, I was going to have to lay it all on the line again.
Caroline's got some work cut out on this faster track though. Jill riding a really smart race. Oh, no way. I think we're going to have the same problem that she had with Barry Nobles running over the white line.
I think we're going to need to take a look at that right there. Did she go across that white line? It looked like she did.
Probably lost a little bit of that mental focus, tried to push it a little bit too hard out of the second corner, which spat me wide into the middle of the track.
Oh, she's just got bucked by that roller and the weight's gone the opposite side.
You know, you do really have to play by the rules, and it's not only just the fastest person on the day wins, that you do have to be strategic and, yeah, really stay in your lane.
Caroline Buchanan will have the max differential because she crossed the line right there, and that means Jill Kittner is have to stay on point, and she's going to come away with a gold medal. What a frustrating way to lose it.
Have we seen anything can happen? Jill out the gate. She needs to ride conservative, but if Caroline can put a wheel ahead and really force a mistake here.
And that's going to do it. Caroline Buchanan, she's going to cross first, but by .07, and that means the gold medal redemption belongs to Jill Kittner.
With the white line penalty in effect, Caroline would have to wait for the next stop to reclaim her title. But before then, it was a quick plane hop over to Ibiza.
Ibiza is really known for its partying, but I think its best kept secret is the adventures and the activities and the riding that it has on the island.
So I'm big about just staying in the moment. Like, when the race comes, I'll worry about it then, but for now, if we have something fun to do, I'm ready to dive straight in and have a good time.
We had no idea what to expect. Something completely new for us, totally different terrains all the way down.
Their riding was so much better than we ever could have expected.
The Harley family, it's a community across the world, so you instantly, without meeting a person, you share that common bond of two wheels and the enjoyment and freedom of riding a motorcycle. And just so much endless coastland being on an island.
To go from bicycles to motorcycles to four-wheelers, like, we're really getting every experience out of this island and seeing every side of it we could possibly see.
Wind was in our hair, the dirt was in our teeth. Me and Barry are ripping four-wheelers next to each other. You know, that's our kind of ultimate date experience.
I'm not one to kind of have just a chill recovery day, so we're gonna recover when we get home. More activities, Mikey, more activities.
And just enjoying it with the locals, meeting so many great people and the memories that, you know, we've formed here in Ibiza.
Stepping away and doing fun stuff kind of switches that brain off. For me, at least, it always brings me into the event a little more relaxed.
Leaving the party in Ibiza, next stop was Austria, and the beautiful alpine town of Innsbruck.
New event, new location, new tracks, and ready to hit the go button again for another 6 days on the bike and multiple competitions. Big Whip is the most extreme event for me on the Crankworx circuit. It's pushing my boundaries, the most beautiful backdrop over the Alps. Whilst it's like a big event for the guys and they're not so many girls, to actually see that handful of girls all lining up to hit the biggest jump in their life. Naturally in our sport, there's always those risks involved. I was able to sort of park the risk and the fear to the side and go out there and enjoy the moment and enjoy the crowd.
I knew, like, going in Innsbruck, I needed to come in with the same determination, and I just need to get on the top box this time. We literally couldn't have asked for a better course, and I don't even think they really could have built a better course. Those guys killed it. I don't really get to utilize jumps this big too often, so I just kind of try to take advantage of the opportunity, and there's a few tricks I wanted to do, so I just went out there and sent it. Trying to 360 tail at the first jump, and I was just pulling a little too hard and kept over-rotating or stepping off. I landed 2 of them out of probably 12. So that kind of took up a lot of my practice, and I really wanted to get out there and really kind of land that flip whip to really redeem myself from last weekend. Day 2, it's qualifying day. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Now it's time to send it. Not the ideal time I want to be sending big tricks I've never actually landed.
Barry Nobles 100% focused, and you've been telling me he's got a lot of tricks in the bag, Cam.
He does. I mean, we can't even talk about him as a racer anymore because he's got the full package. He's been working harder than any of the other racers out there to put together a bag of tricks for these events.
So here we go. Martin Soderstrom here on the left, Barry Nobles on the right. We are racing.
Dropped in for that second run, perfect Superman flip on the first one. I got about halfway on the course and it just started feeling real.
A backflip Superman for Barry Nobles, a double tail for Martin Soderstrom in head-to-head racing.
They're keeping it close together. Martin with a lead on the speed.
A backflip tail for Barry Nobles. He gets the pedals.
Barry Nobles, what?
I was only really worried about that last jump. I wanted to stop that for myself, whether I didn't qualify good at all.
Yeah, you got it?
Yeah, it was perfect.
Nice! That's my boy!
Who would have thought a year ago that we'd see Barry Nobles doing a harder trick on the last jump than a guy like Martin Soderstrom?
Get out of here, Barry Nobles.
I was grinning ear to ear to land that run for my first time. I knew second lap I was going to have to bring out something that I probably don't have very consistent.
A little bit of an advantage there for Barry Nobles. After all that waiting, let's see if they can land their tricks. A 360 tail for Barry Nobles. A double whip for Martin. Martin gets the pedals. Barry Nobles does not.
It wasn't a trick I had that much confidence in over a jump that big.
After all that waiting, Barry goes and tries a trick that he was about 20% on in practice, just going to show that he's not afraid.
Martin cruised his way to the finish line and advanced on, and I was out again in second round.
You got to give it up for Barry Nobles right there. Like you said, he has 20% chance of pulling that off, but that's not the kind of game that he plays.
Never holding back.
I think there's always going to be that expectation for me and Barry coming into mountain biking from BMX. The first thing that we were naturally drawn to and the first events that we actually got results in was the pump track.
Like, I knew I was one of the fastest guys in the Leger. I knew I deserved a podium spot or just at least the top 4 there. So I knew I needed to put everything together and I just needed to be at that finish line first every single lap.
Well, he's into the semi-final. Will it be a gold?
Caroline Buchanan, there she is. She's all focused 100%. So we keep talking about that collision course between Caroline Buchanan and Jill Kittner, and both of them have the advantage here in the semifinals. Can Barry Nobles make up the difference over Tanny Gannett? It's only 0.31 the difference here, Needles.
Yeah, Barry's hyping the crowd. He wants some support, and he's gonna need it.
Everything was coming together good. I had a lead into the third turn and just came out. I was pushing a little too hard, and I just rolled my foot right off my pedal.
What is Barry doing here? He looks for, oh no, that's a big mistake from Barry.
No!
That is all she wrote, fans.
With a mistake in his qualifying heat, Barry was relegated to fight it out for third.
Hard to kind of battle for the B final when you're battling for a third place and not that top first spot.
Oh, and Barry Nobles, this could be seriously a gold medal matchup.
They're both going to be angry they're not in the final. There's going to be some fierce testosterone coming down this final straight. Barry Nobles riding super fast.
Look at Nobles.
Out the gate, quick to the first turn. Little bobble there. I'm not sure if he's going to be happy with that. Into the final straight here. What do we have here? Oh, there's a big mistake from Adrian Barry Nobles.
Barry Nobles crosses the line right there. 1.25 advantage, and Barry Nobles is going to come away with the bronze medal here today.
Once again, it was down to a fight between the top 2 female competitors.
We love a crowd. We love pumping up the energy, and, you know, we definitely vibe off that.
Is it going to be Jill Kittner? Can she beat Caroline Buchanan?
She's the one that I want to beat, and I'm the one that she wants to beat.
It's all to play for here, Brad. This is the only run that counts.
We were so equal around the track. It was basically going to be the final stretch for the line.
Caroline Buchanan pushing hard, but Jill's got the wheel, I think.
Oh, wait a minute.
I'm not sure.
No, by 0.03, Caroline Buchanan has crossed the line, and she's coming away with the gold medal. What a race right down to the wire needles.
For us, an event in Leger where we didn't get the results we wanted, I think for us to both have that sort of down event, but then to back it up and have that redemption and both get on the podium together. That was our little fairy tale moment and our little high.
Hopefully going into Whistler, we'll share that first spot together.
It's going to be down to the line at the final round in Whistler.
After a long drive from Southern California up to Vancouver, our first stop was to pick up a couple Harleys.
We've just arrived in Vancouver. It wouldn't be a Living the Ride tour without hitting the ground running. We've picked up the Harley Davidsons. We're going to go explore.
Whistler Blackcomb is a world-class ski resort in winter and one of the world's best mountain bike parks in summer.
The drive from Vancouver to Whistler is one of the best drives you can ever do.
It's an incredible ride to the beautiful mountain resort.
Mountains on one side, we've got beautiful blue lakes on the other.
To do it on a Harley, you're outside, you're feeling the wind on your face. It makes it that much more breathtaking.
With over 30,000 spectators in town, it's no wonder Crankworx is known as the Super Bowl of mountain biking.
The season finale, so it's the big wrap-up, but it's also where Crankworx began.
You have a whole 10 days of riding. You feel like a kid. You want to get on your bike. You're excited to ride.
Not only the series ender, but it's also the heart of Crankworx.
Anytime you come to Whistler, it's A-Line.
A-Line would have to be probably the most photographed, most videoed, most famous trail of mountain biking in the world, and also holds their downhill event.
Thank you. That was the one that I was really excited to kind of get there and ride. That's the one I actually ride way too much when I'm at Whistler and blow myself out halfway through the events.
I think a lot of people underestimate it. It looks like a big BMX track, but because of the distance of it, the endurance factor really plays in.
Caroline Buchanan.
She can carry good speed here. She'll be strong on the pedals coming from the BMX background, and she's really fit.
I'm used to 40 seconds in a BMX race, and I need to prepare for 4 minutes. That's sort of the mental challenge for me going into an event like A-Line.
4:27.73. Can she do it? The time in across. No, third place for Caroline Buchanan. Barry Nobles coming up for you now. He's a guy, even has tricks for speed and style. He's even talked about trying to do slope style. He's great in pump track, and here he is on the Fox Air DH.
Luckily, I took it a bit easier this year and just had a good time and kept it easy.
Not going to be able to finish in the top 10 here, it looks like.
But it's nice to see him and Caroline come out here and really focus on the Crankworx events.
But it's not all fun and games on tour.
So coming off of Europe, Crankworx, stomping a couple tricks I've really been wanting to do.
A backflip tail for Barry Nobles. He gets the pedals. Who would have thought a year ago that we'd see Barry Nobles doing a harder trick on the last jump than a guy like Martin Soderstrom?
I came home and I really want to fine-tune everything coming into Whistler and have all my tricks super dialed. I signed up for a local slopestyle contest at our local bike park. Went to flip whip the last jump, pulled a little hard. Small fractures in my heel, a spiral fracture in my fib. So right here, had an odd break in my fib. Not ideal. Apparently that's a spiral through there. I literally didn't touch my bike for 4 weeks until we got to Whistler. So it wasn't the most ideal prep leading into one of the biggest events of the year.
It's not been a great year for Barry. Going into Whistler injured wasn't helping.
I've had so many injuries over the years, and I'm by far one of the worst when it comes to doctor's advice. So he said everything was in line, it was no surgery needed. So, I mean, I look at that as sweet, my foot's attached, we're still riding. Every speed and style course this year has been pretty amazing. I mean, Innsbruck was gonna be hard to top. I think a few of us were a bit disappointed when we got there. It was definitely more towards a racer side track. It wasn't the most ideal for coming into it with my preparation, for sure. I switched to my dual slalom bike. Never tricked it or anything, so I just figured it'd take a little more pressure off that left foot. I was definitely leading into the first rounds of 32, super cautious. I didn't have that confidence leading into one of the flags and missed it and DQ'd, and that was a wrap. Rounds of 32, out.
The final ladies ride out, I think we've made some really strong bonds and connections. Generally, we've spent all these years competing against each other, never really spending much time together. This year really broke the ice in New Zealand of getting the group of ladies together and forming those bonds and relationships. We continued it in Leger and had stop number 2 of Ladies Ride Out. A lot of the stops this year have been sort of pampering, but we're girls that like to get dirty. We're out there on the razors, covered in dirt, just mobbing through the trees, and every time I turned around, one girl was trying to rip a donut and getting in trouble, or we're going as fast as we can, 2 wheels around turns. So yeah, I think that was probably the highlight for most of the girls, is just to get out there, and I think we're all tomboys at heart. We like going fast.
High five.
We all had a little bit of a taste for Canadian tradition, doing some axe throwing.
Start from here, step.
Again, for all of us, something we'd never done before, but we're all pretty competitive, so we managed to make a bit of a challenge out of it. I wouldn't want to get in front of any of these mountain bike ladies.
But it's not all wheelies, donuts, and dirt baths.
Another taste of Whistler and an iconic tourism spot, so it was a must-do. I noticed that all us girls, the bonds that we've formed this year have sort of gone onto the track as well, and I think it's made the competitive environment, I think, a little bit nicer as well. It was a good way to just switch off before the upcoming Crankworks event.
Heading back into Whistler, Caroline had her eyes on the top spot in the fight for dual slalom.
The dual slalom, pretty much speed and style without the big trick jumps.
It's a fan favorite.
You got a 2-man gate, you got your own course, and it's a head-to-head battle to the finish line.
It's definitely one of the more challenging mountain bike events. It brings in the cornering elements of downhill, it brings in the BMX elements of the jumping, but then the head-to-head action of a pump track or 4-cross event.
So here we go again.
Caroline would once again fight Jill Kittner for gold.
It's a challenge, it really is. You can't make one mistake.
Caroline Buchanan on the right, Jill Kittner on the left for the gold medal matchup. Here we go.
Good start from Caroline. She's out like a rocket. What's going to happen to the rhythm?
Both of them.
Double again from both of them. Both clean.
Made a little bit of a mistake in one of the corners.
This is where Jill needs to be aggressive to put that time against Caroline. And she's doing just that. This is going to be a big, big advantage.
Pedal strokes across right there. 1.20. Jill Kittner with the advantage over Caroline Buchanan.
Just enough for Jill to have that little edge on me coming into the second round.
Can Jill Kittner do it, or is it going to be Caroline Buchanan?
Caroline out front, is it going to be enough, Brad?
I think when I can finish a race and know that I've laid it all on the line, I've been off the brakes, committed into every corner.
Redemption for Jill Kittner, and completes the 5-peat. 7 wins in 11 years for Kittner.
For me, yeah, proud. Slalom is the event that is, I think, the one that's progressing my mountain bike skills the most.
With a second-place finish for Caroline, Jill would go on to take the Queen of Crankworks title. But with the pump track overall title undecided, it wasn't over for Caroline.
So after a couple days of riding, we put the bike down and we just wanted to see what Whistler had to offer. Normally I hear zipline, I'm like, that's all right.
As soon as we saw the speeds, we're like, yep, sign us up.
So we took a lift up a mountain, then we took a van on these back roads and went on this like super sketchy bridge in the middle of these trees. Look down, we see nothing but fog. No idea how far you're going, you just know you're super high up. We looked at each other and said, hey, you gonna race?
I think I'm gonna win, but he's got the extra kilos behind him.
So give it a 1, 2, 3 countdown.
Okay, 3, 2.
Of course, he jumps the gun on me trying to cheat.
broke through the fog.
Faster and faster, where it kind of takes your breath away, and it was a rad experience.
All right, that was rad. That was sick.
By far the fastest zip line I'd ever been on.
I think for me and Barry, we're both pretty inspired by other athletes and other champions, and I think to set foot on the grounds where other Olympians have set foot.
So we were lucky enough to experience the 2010 Winter Olympics bobsled course.
Watching the 2010 Olympics was a moment of realization for me before my first Olympic Games that I competed in 2012. That was going to be me in 2 years' time, and I think for me it really hit home that that was the Olympics that I watched.
I'm not sure how fast this is really going to be, but it's right up my alley.
We're adrenaline junkies, we like going fast.
My name's Adam Snow. My friends here at the track call me Snowy. I'm one of the summer pilots for our summer experience, the Rolling Thunder, where we drive wheeled bobsleighs down the world's fastest track and reach speeds of close to 90 kilometers an hour and 2.5 G's worth of force.
On a bike, when we're ripping into corners, we feel a few G's.
The more you look outside, you'll kind of naturally lean into the corners, and that's what we want to do.
Like seeing a couple of the guys whiz by, I knew it was going to be a good time.
If they're into bicycling and mountain biking and stuff, they're definitely going to have a thrill.
Track is now clear for pilot Snowy with passengers Barry and Caroline.
I knew it was going to be fast, but I really didn't expect it to be so fast and really kind of hitting G's in the turns and really kind of sucking you into the seat. So to be there and kind of experience someone else's completely different world of Olympic sports, I was glad I had that experience.
I like any pump track, but this one really stood out for me.
So the start hill was a little bit steeper than normal, straight into a steep roller section, so it was way more of a level playing field.
We've never had any track like this before.
It looks like it's gonna be super fast and super fun. After a frustrating week, my season has gone completely opposite of where I wanted it to go. King and Crankworks is gone, overall pump track's gone. I haven't had the win in a couple years. One last event for the week, just had to push that pain to the side and hopefully pull something out and get a result out of the end of this week. I had Bodie Turner, which is such a powerhouse BMXer. He just came off an awesome result at BMX Worlds, and this track was definitely that powerhouse.
Yeah, you know that Barry Nobles was instrumental in getting Bodie Turner to compete in this one. I wonder how he's rethinking this one right now.
You needed to have that strength to really pump to the finish line, so I knew this was going to be a tough one.
Oh, big hop there from Barry. It's quite neck and neck. These guys are so committed here through the S-bends there.
Look at this! Oh!
Man, you can see how much speed these two are carrying, even compared to the other guys. They are really moving down that final straight. Probably not going to invite them to the next Crankworks.
Anything can happen, I just got to step it up.
Yeah, it's all to play for here. Not a lot in it. 0.05, as you said. Bodie Turner riding extremely, extremely quick down this final straight. Both of them hard on the cranks here. As we see, we picked them up. What is it going to be?
Oh, Barry Nobles takes the winner of that one, but I don't think he made up enough. No, 0.06 the difference, and Bodie Turner by just a fraction of a time right there. He will be moving on, and Barry Nobles is done.
If there's going to be any of these guys to knock me out early, I was stoked it was Bodie. He's a homie, and gave him congrats and said, come on, man, let's get you to the top of this podium.
Whoever walked away with the win in this final stop was going to be crowned the Queen of Pump Track. I've made Jill step up, she's really made me step up, and it's been that healthy competition all year. She's a local girl, you know, she hates being beaten.
She's got the resume, that's for sure. BMX World Champ 2013, two-time Olympian, Whistler Pump Track Gold, gold in Rotorua Pump Track, and gold in Innsbruck. That's who Caroline Buchanan is right there.
When it's easy, you don't really show your true colours. So when it's a battle like this year against Jill all year, and then when there is that added hype around her and she is going in as the queen, I sort of capitalise that on my moment to really sort of light the fire, and it brings the best out of you.
Absolutely amazing rivalry all season long. The 4th time this year that they have battled for the gold medal.
Jill caught napping out the gate. She really needs to push hard to make that up. Caroline Buchanan very strong down this final stretch. Manual from both girls. Caroline Buchanan with the advantage into the next round.
This is probably one of the more challenging ones because the pump track did play so much into my strengths. I almost found that did put a little bit more pressure on me, and I didn't want to bobble. I didn't want to throw it away right at the line.
The series title on the line and the gold medal on the line. Here we go. Oh,
another good start from Caroline. Jill has really got her work cut out for in this final straight. Caroline Buchanan needs to keep it steady. Jill is pushing hard and she's fighting. She's coming back.
Well, Jill's going to take the win.
Not going to be enough, though.
I love those pressure cooker moments where the fear's building, the adrenaline's building, the crowd's going nuts, and that moment where you can't back away from it. You're all in.
It's not going to be enough. Caroline Buchanan's going to come away with the gold medal, and not only that, she's going to win the series title in one race. Caroline Buchanan gold, Jill Kittner silver.
To be able to stand up there next to another Australian teammate, Bodie Turner, it was, just, that really special moment that doesn't happen too often.
Caroline holds it down for the two of us, but naturally I want to be on that podium with her. It's been such an amazing year, away from results. Constantly kind of going backwards this season has been pretty tough on me.
Leaving Whistler, the season wasn't over.
So Crankworks is a wrap. Time to just put that behind us and focus on the next.
The next stop was Val di Sole, Italy for the 4-cross World Championships. Yeah, we had a real special moment last year where Barry actually proposed a few hours away from the race venue. I won my 7th world title, and it was off the back of a devastating Rio finish for me in the BMX Olympics.
Val di Sole gave Barry the opportunity for a final act of redemption, and Caroline the opportunity to hold on to her 4-cross crown. But before that, they take a trip off the beaten track.
Right up in the Dolomite Mountains, gorgeous mountains that I've always seen, so what better way than to be flying through them and flying right along the side of them. We saw that we could go paragliding. We're about to run off a cliff. This is crazy. We're only able to get one person flying with this one, so Barry had to take one for the team and sit this one out. Probably the most sketchy part of it all was the takeoff. Once we had that sort of lift off and we're up in the sky, it was, really a nice sort of tranquil, relaxing, almost like meditative type experience. Until we started ripping those turns and having those acrobatic maneuvers, it was such a peaceful, relaxing way to just fly like a bird down into the valley.
Four cross is pretty much BMX on a mountain bike.
4 riders on the track, head-to-head racing from a gated start, moguls, jumps, corners, flat turns. Everyone goes nuts for 4-cross.
After 5 of these 4-cross world champs, I just want it so bad. First lap went great, second lap went great. Everything was literally coming together like autopilot. I qualified 3rd, so I was actually in lane 2. The second qualifier was in lane 1 and got over on lane 1, just taking his line a little bit, so I had that lead going into the first turn. And Slavic, I knew he's an aggressive rider and he would be right there if I left the door open. I thought we could hold it. He squeezed out and I literally just ran out of track, felt my front wheel wash away, and it was another world title just slipped out of my hands.
He'd probably just had one of his most devastating finishes, getting taken out, leading the semi-final at a World Championships, He'd qualified really well. A part of me was really sad before that World Championship final that he'd just got knocked out, but I had to put my game face on and I had to do my job. Once you become a world champion, you become part of a bigger family of cyclists, and for me it's always an honour to wear those rainbow stripes on your back for a year, and I was really hungry.
Buchanan with the whole shot, as we expected. Labankova in second place, and it's going to be the battle really for bronze. Caroline Buchanan goes for the A-line, so too does Labankova. Through the rock garden. Just the last jump, it is going to be another world title for Australia's Caroline Buchanan.
Barry's been there for all of my World Championship titles. He's always been at the finish line. Whether he's won or he's had a good day, he's always the first person there that's there to congratulate me. So it's a little bit of a bittersweet moment when we are a couple competing at this top end. Sometimes I have a good day, sometimes he has a bad day, but we're still always there to support each other. The message this whole year for Living the Ride was really for me and Barry to explore the world, to be travellers, to be tourists, and to arrive at a destination and see more than the hotel room and the track.
This year has been unlike any other year we've ever had.
We've been able to do everything from ride Harley Davidsons to jump off bridges, to be in a water park, to do bobsled, zip line.
There's so many highs to come from it. There's so many lows for myself to come away with it, but there's so much I learned from it.
The highs and lows of the competitive tour, but also experiencing the world and seeing the highs and lows of that as well. And there's been so much more to this year for me that has stood out than any other year.
I look forward to going into another year, same way, living it up as a tourist, but also a little bit of a different focus and a different game plan when it comes to competition.
With another world title in the bag, a crown on Caroline's head, and a heap of experience under their belts, it's on to their next journey as they continue living the ride.